So I try to start from where the family's at and gain information first. I see even young boys at home, and I tell them all the time, God gave you, 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And I think as family support and as adults, we need to go in with that same attitude. I get much more out of a family by listening to them than I do yapping on to them about these are wonderful things that your loved one's going to do, by saving lives.
You're not trying to plan the next thing to say, and then if they lean back, you slowly lean back too. If it's appropriate, sometimes there's a tender moment where you can reach out and you can touch them. You can either touch their arm or touch their leg, depending on where they're sitting. And there certainly has been times with family members where I set the stage for the room and I make sure that the furniture is conducive to being able to have those conversations and use those active listening skills in a way where I can reach out and touch a family member if I need to. Mm-hmm. So it's very rare that I'm sitting at a table and there's that space between us, because that's a blockage. What I try to do is have casual furniture angled at a certain way. If it's pushed too far against the wall, I want to bring it closer to me so that they're not too far away, and it helps create that connection. And the lighting, everything, comes into play.
It's going to take a little longer to process things. Also, I would never want a family to feel rushed. I think that you could say the kindest words thinkable to a family, do everything right verbally, and look at your watch 3 times during a request, and the family, that could blow the whole thing. Patience, I think, is a huge key, and being comfortable with that silence is part of it. A family sitting there, not responding quickly, maybe thinking about their wedding day, maybe thinking, something you said may have spurred a memory about their child that's laying there, not coming back. I would hate to be the one to interrupt that memory, in the midst of that. I want to give them their time to do whatever, processing they need to do.
Yeah, there's actually one really neat technique that you can do that can help you really stay in the moment and help you stay present. It's actually whenever you're having a conversation with a friend or a loved one, to really sit and listen and try not to plan what you're going to say next. So often what we do, it's human nature, is to be able to try to get ready for, they're telling you something interesting and you want to be able to match it. You want to be able to compare your experience with theirs, and really it's just showing I'm interested, I'm listening to you, and we have a connection. When really people want to finish their sentence. They want to know that you're hearing everything that they're saying. And oftentimes what we're doing is they're halfway through their sentence or their story, and we're already planning what we're going to say next. If you can back up and you can practice that, people have told me it's really hard. It's really hard to do that. And once you start practicing it, you really realize how often you interrupt people, how often you actually are not listening to something that somebody says. But there's a certain energy that's created when you actually do stop and listen and pay attention to somebody. And families that are dealing with crisis and are considering organ donation really do appreciate and can feel that energy coming from somebody else. What it does is it builds trust and rapport, and it helps the family really feel as if they're invested in whatever you feel you're invested in, because you let them speak, you let them talk, and you appear to care about their loved one because you're learning about them. And so it's always a privilege to be able to learn about families and to learn about their loved one.